everybody.
Welcome to Lady Vibe,
Your podcast for
better well-being.
This is your co-host, Dr. Ning.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel. So today we have with us one of the absolute best strength and conditioning coaches in the United States, Divine Green. Divine, thank you for joining us. Divine is actually my trainer. He actually motivated me to start doing, 30 days of, multiple workouts a day, no alcohol. And he is very, very good at motivating people. So he has a lot of clients here in the DC area, adults and professional athletes, as well as students in high school looking to, reach their dreams, right? Of going, to play college athletics. So Divine, love to hear a little bit about your story and sort of how you leaned into becoming a strength and conditioning coach.
Yes, ma'am. First, thank you both for having me on this episode. So I guess, like Ms. Rachel mentioned, I'm a strength conditioning coach. Been training for over 10 years now. Played collegiate football in college, where I got my degree in kinesiology. Went on to pursue masters at USF to get a little bit more study of kinesiology. And then, so I was in Tampa for about a year. Moved back home, started training at PR Strength, our gym in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and been working there for about 5 years now. And like Ms. Rachel said, I had the blessing to work with a lot of adults, athletes, pro athletes, from all different backgrounds, all different fitness levels, and just been putting my foot on the gas ever since. Motivating, keeping people excited to work out, bringing out the fun. Enjoyment of it all.
100%. So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned PR Strength. What is the PR Strength sort of mission, focus, and what do you do every day? Give us the DL.
So PR Strength, mission focus. So the PR, it stands for like personal record. So like a PR, anything you do, whether it's a lift or you mentioned like your 30-day thing, that could be a record of you 30 days straight working out, or not consuming alcohol.
It's a record.
Every day, we shoot to achieve a record in something every day, whether it's just coming and, finishing your water bottle before you leave or something like that. Myself could be, every day, my goal is to make at least each person, smile and laugh throughout the workout, so that, that fulfills that enjoyment for them and want them to keep coming in and stuff like that. But yeah, so, we all preach, just providing the best quality and experience for all our clients, and, every session is a first session for them. So, we could be 10 sessions in, but it's my first time seeing you too. Got to make sure, you get the best of what you guys want, what you should get. And then, keep making me want to come back and receive that same fulfillment and joy again.
So you help people set their personal record.
Yes, ma'am.
And then guide them step by step on how to achieve those records.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
When they reach a record, they can have another record, like at a level or something like that.
Exactly.
So what are the ages of people you train? Sort of give us the profile, like who's your favorite, person to train, or, what do you find the most fulfilling and exciting about getting people to move, right?
Right, that's true. So favorites, she's trying to put me on the hot seat, but I would say my favorite right now probably will be Miss Rachel, because she got me.
How to say that?
Showing up to me viral area, on TV talk shows. I'm blessed for that. But yeah, I love all my clients. I don't really have, hate or dislike anybody. I love each and every one of them. They're all different backgrounds, different personalities, different ways I have to challenge myself to, approach them and, like you said, keep them motivated. Some, like they said, the ages, like I have some clients that are, 50, 60, 70s, so with them, kind of got to approach them different compared to how I talk to like a 20-year-old or a high school, athlete, who I can be, still jokingly, but, just different wording and phrases, mimics, kind of got to go, in the, I can't even say the word, the Doris's for the little older folks, kind of get their vocabulary. But yeah, so, all different ages, all different backgrounds, from, like I said, I think the youngest, like 4th grade, and we have like oldest 60, 70, so yeah.
Are there any differences between men and women in terms of training or conditioning?
So difference-wise, yeah, that's a big question. You probably see a lot on social media and everything. I would say, is there a big difference? No. I'd say a man can train like a woman can train like a man. Both can see results that they want to achieve. I think society gives us a perception of if a woman is like trying to lift strong like a man, or trying to, do any movement that may look like or display, very masculine or whatever, that they're all going to turn to looking like that man or turn to the hawk. Vice versa, if a guy does, a glute band workout, he wants to, have a, big butt and walk around the beach sticking his butt out. Instead of like a woman, can lift like a man and still be slim and toned, but she just kind of, improve, her muscle mass, overall health, decrease diseases and stuff like that, while building up her strength. And a guy can do a glute band workout without having the mindset of, well, I'm trying to glow my butt. Instead, I'm trying to train for my glutes to protect my lower back and, make everyday functional living better. So, yeah, no, I would say no differences. I think it's just more just a mindset thing.
Yeah. In terms of how to improve their appearance or the goal of the exercise, I think it's both now. Like I have a teenage boy at home, and I see how they start paying attention to their appearance, right? Like start using cologne and like hair gels, and then like work out, like look nice. So I think that both men and women want to look good.
Exactly.
And feel good.
Exactly. That's what it is. Feel good, look good, and move good.
What do you look at when somebody's beginning, right? Versus as they sort of grow and learn the different techniques, like what can someone expect when they start out, and as they grow, what would they learn?
Before you answer, I want to share what our episode is called "What's Stopping You." I want to share a little bit about what's stopping me. So I feel like I don't know those exercise machines that well. And when I go to the gym, there are so many people, right? And I feel like a little embarrassed, like to, I don't have a personal trainer. And I feel like other people are looking at me, or like just feel like not confident to go to the machine and start working out. And I don't have kind of a routine that I can start with. And just like all those machines, like intimate me, like from going in. Like I can go to the treadmill and do my cardio without problem. But when it comes to strength training, and I just felt I'm embarrassed.
I understand, 100%. And it definitely, a lot of folks are like that. And, this is called lady vibes. I put it in like a mindset of a lady perspective, So imagine like you advance in your shopping from TJ Maxx, like a nice, like, little, nothing wrong with TJ Maxx, like a nice little, getting a dress somewhere, right? And you walk into the store and like you said, you kind of intimidated by all the items in there and stuff, but you get this one little skirt, you try it on, you take it home, your husband compliments you, ooh, blah blah blah. You go back to that same store again, right? That's like you're at the machine at the gym, right?
Yeah.
You're skeptical, but you mess with a little bit, you might have it might not be a worker at the store helping you put the skirt on, but somebody around, like you know, yeah, you should wear it like this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Could be the same at the gym. You know,
Yeah.
you might not need a trainer, but you know, you visualizing or speak to somebody else through that machine, and then you kind of, you know, go after them. You try to replicate the movement, maybe at a lighter weight, maybe at no weight, to where, you know, you feeling what you should feel, or as example with the skirt, you feeling how you look as you should look in the skirt, and then, you know, you come back again the next day, you get a new item, and then, you know, you go back home, you have a compliment, you come back again, and eventually your whole closet or your whole arsenal of exercises of the machines grown, and now, you know, you get in there, got a membership at the store, you know, every exercise, a machine equipment. So it's you know, it's like the same in everything in life. You know, you got to taste a little bit of it, you know, just the uncomfortableness of, you know, trying something different, you know, and just stepping out your comfort zone. You know, we all been in that type of place once or twice in our, or multiple times in our lifetime. So
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Just to get to know one at a time, or one set at a time. If I want to do my legs, what machines should I use, or what kind of moves, right? I figure that out.
Right,
And
right.
then figure out the arms, abs.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so much resources nowadays too, where like especially like Instagram and, you know, ChatGPT and stuff, where you can just plug something in and they'll give you a layout of how to do something. Well, that, you know, to me, you know, and people tell me all the time, you know, that's taking away the trainer, that's taking away, you know, your feel, but it's still that personal connection you get from like a trainer that will help you. But yeah, for like you said, if you want like movements for your legs, for your arms, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet and a lot of good, you know, research and stuff to read about that can, you know, help you understand how to do those movements with those machines and stuff like that. But no, for sure, it's just like you said, getting uncomfortable and again comfortable being uncomfortable, and then just consistency with those movements and stuff.
What about diet?
So diet's a big thing. That's the first thing I always ask everybody when they first come to workout or class. What did you eat last night? Just to get, you know, because that honestly shows me where everybody's mindset at and how I can approach them that day, to be honest with you. If you had pizza and burgers last night, I'm gonna probably get on you, but I know there's a way I can get on you that's gonna make you like, all right, I gotta bust my ass because I had those pizza and burgers last night. Like, I shouldn't have ate that, you know, instead of me just keep dragging you down to where you like, I don't give a damn, I'm gonna go eat more pizzas and burgers, you know, kind of trying to flip that switch. Whereas if you ate good, you know, I'm also get on you and be like, you know, you just had a chicken Caesar salad last night. You energized, like, let's go, you know. So diet's a big thing because it can really set, you know, your drive, your energy, your mindset. I try to preach, you know, not so much having people be on diets, but, you know, flexible eating. You know, you gotta enjoy yourself. I guess Miss Rachel's a big advocate of that, enjoying herself, and, you know, finding little, you know, slip holes that she can, you know, have her fun, but still prioritize, you know, her health and everything. So, you know, just small little habits that says, you know, replacing those chips with fruit, or, you know, subbing out the alcohol with, you know, seltzer water or something like that. You know, so diet is definitely a big factor, and, you know, plays a lot role, not just working out, but just overall life and, you know, your functioning and stuff. So yeah.
Why do you think it's so hard to get people to change?
Why do you think? Because they don't want to. Why they get too hard to change? Because they want to change, but they don't want to change. You know, they just been so comfortable doing what they're doing. You know, so comfortable. It'd be like if we've been brushing our teeth with our left hand our whole life and trying to go to our right. You know, it's gonna feel weird, but it might help us reach that molar in the back. You know, or something like that. You know, but it's little things like that. I feel like people don't want to change because they're just scared of, what it's going to take to change, so you got to feed them like baby steps, like having a daughter, and seeing her, being scared to go up the steps, one step at a time, and just what's the result going to be, each day you take one little crawl up a step and that guides you the rest. Eventually you'll make it all the way up the steps. Same thing with, trying to change your life habits. People are scared or, don't have that, push or courage inside them that they can do it. So I guess that's where I love my job so much that I can come in and, what's one step I can help you, is go up that next step. And then I guide you a little bit, and then you go up that next step, and I push you a little bit, and you go up that third step. To eventually, they're changing, but they don't even notice that they're changing until it's like boom, damn, coach, I'm down 10 pounds, or damn, I've been to the gym, every day this month, something like that. I'm sleeping throughout the whole night. I didn't eat out much. So it's just like people I feel scared to change and just need somebody that's gonna be patient, like to find those unique ways.
What would you say is the biggest success story you've seen?
I would say there's multiple. I mean, obviously success. People love seeing, the weight loss, which is a blessing, because somebody.
Before and after pictures.
Yeah, that is sweet. But before and after, I think mine though, obviously outside the weight and everything, is more just the intrinsic stuff. Like I had this one lady, she did lose like 30 pounds, but over top of that, her blood pressure got better. She was pre-diabetic, cleared that. Her family history of those health things, started, to bypass her because she was getting, better state, better health. So I think that was a blessing, seeing just her word of praise from the work she put in, and the work we did together was probably kept me motivated. It was like dang, like this is more than just telling her to go do 10 burpees or ride a bike for 5 calories or go do a sled. This was really improving her life, her longevity, and the 30 pounds, that was just a kind of side piece to the success, even though that's what you say, that's what a lot of people see, this transformation and stuff, but more just intrinsic things that I think that made it a big success story.
So based on your experience working with different clients, how long does it usually take for people to get into like a healthy routine? Like they do not need more nudges, like they will become a natural part of their life. So
how long does it take? So there's always like this one saying, I think it was like in 3, it's like, what is that? In like 2 weeks you'll see it, you'll feel it. 4 weeks you'll see it, and in 6 weeks you'll hear it, right? I think that's how it goes. So I would say normally it takes like maybe somebody to build a habit 7 to 14 days, right? And then whatever the habit may be, after those 14 days, you'll start to see a change, right? So whether your habit is for 14 days, you're going to the gym to do that one leg machine for 14 days straight. And then after the 14 days, you start to see some deafness in your legs. The knee pain goes away, you're starting to see a little bit of change, progress. So I would say, like you asked, in 2 weeks, they'll create a habit. In 4 weeks, they'll start to see it. And in 6 weeks, you'll hear it, which has, your husband or your son could be like, damn, man, like your quads are, looking good. What you've been doing. And it's just like, 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks I was doing a leg press, and now I'm doing 2 other leg machines, so little things like that. But the normal person, yes. Other people, you might got to double that. So
yeah,
it depends who you're working with. But the average American, I would say, yeah. Bye.
Yeah, we did hear from other trainers who are recommending like resting too. Like I said, muscles need resting, right? You cannot like put them to work continuously. So what's your recommendation like?
For resting and stuff?
No, exercise daily, or you just, can access daily but not in the same group of muscle?
Correct. That's exactly what the answer is. You can for sure exercise daily, do some activity, but definitely not the same muscle group. So all the glute warriors out there, I definitely want to, do a booty band workout every day. At least give, 24, 48 hours rest. And it also comes down to how you're eating, how you're sleeping, your stress and everything. But I feel like with rest, it just depends on those little factors too that play in. So like we have people at our gym that come 5 to 6 days a week, and they're making sure they're prioritizing good eating, good sleeping, good recovery, and then a day off is always 1 to 3 days like throughout the week off from the gym is, it's always good too to unwind and let your body chill out, depending if you have how much soreness you have and stuff like that. But I say, you can exercise daily. Definitely, like you said, don't hit the same muscle groups twice, and making sure you're focusing on those small factors, sleep, eating, hydration, and all that good stuff.
When you work on the same muscle group, do you change out exercise?
We work at the same muscle group, so it depends. I mean, you can and you don't have to. I mean, most of the time, just because that keeps you more motivated. That engagement, that excitement of doing something new. We probably not gonna go, out to eat and wear the same lip gloss or wear the same T-shirt every time, but exercise, you definitely would kind of change it out every now and then just to shock your body, give it something new. It doesn't have to be nothing too drastic, but it could be like just, doing a step up to like a step up with like a curl, step up with a knee drive or something like that. That little change can just, shock your body a little bit to kind of give it a little bit more intensity and stuff like that. But
if people are able to choose morning or night, which would you recommend in terms of
for the workout? Mm-hmm. Whatever fits best for your schedule. I mean, obviously, I'm a big morning person, so I preach morning. Get you up, get your blood going. First thing, get you energized. You get it out the way. To be honest, you don't have to. Sometimes if it does drag after work and stuff, and you're like, damn, I have to go work out, when it should be motivational, it can be a good stress reliever, your safe space. So, definitely, morning's a good time, but nighttime's good too, time to unwind after work. Let that animosity out from that coworker that's giving you crap talk, or your boss, I won't give you that paid time off or whatever, Or, if the spouse is just being a spouse, you want to get free time. It just depends on your lifestyle. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. But yeah, I'm a morning person.
I try to do exercise in the morning before, but it just make me, I felt excited after the exercise, but a couple of hours later, I felt tired and want to sleep.
That definitely, that post-workout, definitely can exhaust you. But that's when, are you eating like after, or how long?
Usually eating afterwards.
And you still kind of tired. So that's definitely a thing that can happen. It happens to me sometimes too. And that's when I said, the eating definitely can fuel you, give you a little more energy. And then, making sure you're constantly eating throughout that day too. Some fruit, drinking water. A lot of people, caffeine folks, supplements like BCAAs, keep you energized and stuff like that. But
so what do you eat?
What do I eat? I'm kind of like a cartoon character. I kind of almost, if you open the fridge, you're just gonna see the same thing, whether it's March or August or 2028, you probably see the same foods. But every morning I eat 3 egg whites, either turkey bacon or chicken sausage. Always have a pear. I'm a big preacher about pears. I think they're one of the best fruit to have. I'm a big preacher. I always have a pear every morning. If I don't have a pear in the morning, then you're gonna see that I'm off early. That's why.
Wait, so it's not an apple a day, it's a pear a day?
It's a pear. So any doctor.
What kind of pear?
Oh, this is regular green pear. Nothing too special. Just a pear. Let it sit out a little bit. Let it get a little ripe, and then it's good to go. But definitely a pear. But egg whites, turkey bacon. Normally have 2 lunches. My favorite vegetable is green beans, so I have a green bean.
Same here.
Like you like green beans? See, I love green beans.
Yeah, I love green bean.
Green beans is like chicken or shrimp. A snack on apples and peanut butter, rice cakes, protein bar, and then dinner. Me and my wife, we set it out a week before. So Monday we always have salmon. Tuesday we always have like a taco variation, like whether it's like a taco bowl or like
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Lady Vibe Tuesdays.
Lady Vibe Tuesday. There you go. Yeah.
So we should have a dish. Create a dish called.
So we created this. There you go. Yeah. This of the day. Wednesdays like pasta. Thursdays normally like chicken. Friday we do something creative. Like we make like homemade pizza or something like that. Sunday steak. And then just repeat.
What about how many grams of protein per meal should we be eating?
So the goal is a gram per body weight, right? So that's definitely the goal. Is a lot of people hit that, normally not, and they'd be surprised how much they actually hit. It's like if you weigh 125, obviously you want to try to at least get 125 grams of protein a day. I try to tell people, don't get overwhelmed by it. Start small. All right, let's start with 100, and then slowly, little habits and little changes can help you build up and hit that. But the more consistently you are with that, hitting that goal, I feel like the better off you'll see your results. Whether it's weight loss, muscle gain, or just improving your overall health.
Yeah, I have. That's something I have been changing slowly because we were educated by some other experts on the show as well. So yeah, I feel like I doubled my protein intake every day, and I do see a positive change.
That's good. Make sure you eat your greens and veggies too.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep.
I want to point out that actually a lot of people believe that egg white is better than whole eggs, but actually it's safe to eat the whole egg.
Whole egg, right?
Yeah, the egg yolk is good for you too.
Yeah, we used to eat a lot of eggs. To be honest, now we switch up. I don't know. I think we just like pouring out the carton. It's like the aesthetics of it. But every now and then we'll have some eggs. My daughter eats it, so I have to eat some every now and then. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you tell somebody that's just like, oh my gosh, dude, like I really don't want to go to the gym. Like I'm just like, I'm tired, right? Like what can we do little by little to get excited, to have that vision, that passion? What in the world? Like there's so many Americans that just do not care or do not have the drive. So what do we have to do to get off the couch and do something?
So first, I would figure out why they want to come into the gym or why they got in contact with me, or how we're in contact in the first place, right? So obviously, if you got to me, see whatever her goal may be, get ready for the summer, or just being healthy, lifestyle. I would kind of, put it out of you, just like, all right, your son's getting older, life's going on. You don't want to be that mom at the wedding that can't dance with her son, or don't feel comfy in your wedding dress at your son's wedding. And that might trigger something. That might be like, ouch. Coach not lying. You don't want to. Always with that. That's my favorite part, because you really gotta understand who you're talking to and like with that rapport, and then that's when you can kind of start pulling out those little needles where it's like a little doll, and every time you pull, you get a little pinch. Oh damn, he's right. I was like Rachel. I know she likes going on trips, so she's going on one this fall, or whatever. So I'd be like, you don't want to go down there, everybody on the beach and you hiding at the beach club bar, you know, you're not. So, you know, like little things like that. And it's like, damn, he's right. You know, let me get myself up and turn this Netflix show off and go to the gym. But it's definitely, that's my way of doing it. You know, some people scream, some people, you know, send multiple texts, but I like to find, you know, what's that trigger point that really pulls, you know, people to come out, and then kind of just keep poking out the bear pretty much. And then
how do you stay motivated? What time do you wake up in the morning again? What's the motivation keeping you going?
I wake up at 3:30, pretty much every day. Sometimes 4. What keeps me going, to be honest, it's I have to work out early because with my schedule, I'm in the gym a good amount throughout the day. And if I try to work out any other time in the day, it kind of takes away time. I can hang out with my daughter. So I'm like, if I don't work out now, you know, I won't work out at all. But if I do work out later, I'm missing that time with my daughter. So it's like, and I enjoy working out for my health, my mental health, and, you know, just like looking good and stuff. So that keeps me motivated, you know, just being able to spend time with her and, you know, still protecting my, you know, prioritizing my self-care and stuff. And then, you know, this family history, a lot of my family has diabetes, you know, had heart attack, stroke. So he's just trying to be that new advocate for myself, you know, my wife, my family, my friends, my clients, you know, everybody else that might need extra motivation, you know, to keep going. But yeah, that keeps me going though.
Yeah, prioritize, right? You that has your priority to stay healthy, so that you can be a better dad.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
For your family. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's funny that you make me think that, oh, maybe I can set the record as be a better shaped mom when I do the first dance with my son.
No, exactly. That's
10, 20 years down the road.
That's exactly what me and my mom's kind of like geeky and like we're antsy, you know, like me, up and energetic. So at our wedding, you know, we didn't do the traditional, you know, the slow dance. We was like break dancing and stuff, and I was like, you know, if we're gonna do this, you gotta be able to move, you know, you in the dress. Yeah. So, you know, she was moving, working out, you know, it kind of motivated her, to be honest. After the wedding, used to go back to our old ways a little bit, but you know, we take a win and win, small wins, you know.
Yeah.
Winners win when they can, and they lose when.
Winners win. So wait, what's the? I mean, you're humble, but people need to know. So how much, like, from a bench press perspective, leg press perspective, like, I saw a lot of weight on that machine. So how much? What's that look like for you in terms of how much you bench press and leg press?
So right now, I'm probably benching around like 330ish. Squatting like for like 480. I have hit higher before, but right now been doing a lot of running. I'm kind of not running as high. I don't know if it's because I'm becoming a dad, and that's what, you know, dads and I don't know, to be honest. Just because the weather's changing, so I've been running a lot more. Actually got a half marathon next Sunday, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, then 330, spot like 480. So boys still low. Dad strength, you know.
That's good. Ning, you and I are gonna bench and leg press 330 and 480 next week, right? I don't.
Maybe put your mind to, bro. Hey, if you want to get out that wedding dance, you might got to, you know.
Yeah. When you do that, when you do too heavy, like, will that hurt your knee or anything?
I mean, it's all about how you build up to it. You know, it's all about how you prepare yourself. You know, if you've been doing consistent work of building muscles up around that group that's needed for the exercise, prioritizing recovery, eating good. If I was eating Domino's and Pizza Hut and going to work out and I try to do something like that, it probably would, you know, mess my knees and joints up. But, you know, I gave myself time to build up, you know, took patience, took time. You know, you can't Amazon Prime it. I go to old ways, drive to the post office, drop the package off, go back home, sit in traffic, you know. So, no, but yeah, so, it won't. It just depends, you know, if you just got to give yourself time to build up to that weight and, you know, eventually come. the proper, proper time and stuff.
And it's all about changing, challenging yourself,
Right.
getting to the next level,
Right.
and getting there slowly at a comfortable pace.
Exactly. And then also at the same time, it's like how long do you stay at that comfortable place as well, right? So that's even more challenging part, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when you're too comfortable, or how do you know? Like I guess this episode, like, how do you know when it's time to come out that comfortable pace and kind of push yourself? When you go to the gym, how do you know when it's time for you to try a machine or try the next machine? So it's all about.
Can you tell us how?
How do you for sure. So one, you best way is to track your progress, track what you're doing. You did a lot of studies, you both do a lot of studies, you both do a lot of readings, and you see a lot of tracking, a lot of data and stuff. So you gotta, when you initially start and just try to get understanding of it, you got to kind of track where you're at, what you're doing. So for you, if you're doing a leg press, right? Doc, if you're doing a leg press and you started at 20 pounds, you did it 10 times. The next week you did it 15 times. The next week you did it 20 times. All right, now you let me go 30 pounds. You repeat that same cycle. Let me go 40 pounds. Repeat that same cycle. And eventually, a month or two down the road, you almost at 100 pounds. That's how you're ready to take that next step. Same thing. And it's like everything we do. You're tracking, your data and your progress. So you just gotta be able to tracking, and then when you feeling like. Another sign could be, soreness is a sign sometimes. You don't always expect it, but if you're doing something repetitively and like your body's just used to it now, it's normal. So every now and then you gotta kind of, shock it and create that new soreness and new adaptation. But definitely tracking. That's the easiest way to do it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What kind of tools can people use to track?
Pen and paper. There you go, just like that. You see, that could be a workout book right there. That could be a workout book. So you need to write down your goal,
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned pen and paper, you can't lose that. But no, pen and paper, there's so many training apps nowadays too. We use one at the gym for our adults that like to track, see their progress and stuff like that. It's a cool way to hold you accountable, keep you motivated. But yeah, for sure, pen and paper, training app. Yeah, lucky having a trainer, one-on-one, sometimes they'll track for you, but yeah, even one of those things, pen and paper or training app.
Yeah. Another excuse me and many other people have is that we don't want to over-exercise. We don't want to worn out our joints, like knees and elbows. And so, is that a myth, or if you don't exercise appropriately, you can get injured. But if you do everything right, does exercise increase your risk of having joint problems?
Does it? It's like I said, if you do it right, it's center, right? If you're doing proper, form, proper technique, proper progressions, if anything, it's to decrease your risk of having those joint pains, aches, increasing your bone density, bone mass, and stuff like that. Muscle mass. So no. But if you're doing something from proper form and you do a rep and it just feels weird or feels where it didn't feel right, and then you should obviously stop. But some people, they might not be conscious of that and keep pushing. So eventually, that repetitions over time add up, and then they have the knee pain, and then they have the back pain.
Right.
And that's kind of like the challenge in my profession is finding, especially a new client or somebody that's not aware of that, where they should feel it, where the muscles should be contracting. So I'm always, I'm a big grabber, not gonna lie. So that kind of sounds weird, but toucher or whatever. So, I'll touch my clients and be like, do you feel it here? Or I'll poke them with a stick. Do you feel it there? Type thing. So that way they know exactly where they should feel it. And not, if you're doing a squat, why do you feel it in your neck? let's stop at this rep instead of keep going. But
yeah, like the exercise that I feel the not sure is that like for abs, right? When you lie down, you try to lift the neck. I always felt a lot of tension with the neck when I do that. So I don't want to hurt my neck.
Right. Adults that do that little turkey neck thing. So it's, they're trying to flex their core, but also trying, they're moving their neck too. So just keeping that relaxed and just, bracing through that core, not trying to engage this, relaxing the neck. But sometimes, looking up into the ceiling or eyes to the sky, you can kind of, but most of the time it's time to relax the neck, just, focus on the core. Or if they're still having trouble doing that, because it is, it can be complicated. I'll just modify the movement where the head relax and use the lower body to activate the core, the lower half.
Right, you're not supposed to feel that much tension with your neck when you do your ab, right?
Right. Yeah, so after the first 2 reps, you feel that, stop. Because if not, you.
What is the optimal amount of days for a beginner to get into it?
I would say at least 3, 2 to 3. 3 would be the best. 2, if they're still skeptical, but I would say at least 3. Because that way, it's probably the best way to kind of plan out a program. You really see it, even in 2 days. I mean, you hit at least each muscle group twice, give it proper time to recover. Create a more structured schedule with that to work around with. I would say 3. 3's been at our facility and in my experience been a golden number. Not saying 2 times you can't see benefits of progress, but 3 times been the gold.
I love it.
Did you hear that, Ning? The magic number 3.
Yeah, that's my favorite number because I'm the 3rd in the family.
So you go 3 times a day. Each week you try 3 new machines. Good. See, there you go.
The other thing I told her you did was the High Rocks competition. So what in the freaking heck is High Rocks for people that aren't familiar with that?
Okay, so High Rocks is kind of like it gets bashed by CrossFit a lot, but it's kind of like I would say it's like a CrossFit event, right? A lot more endurance in it, though. A lot more running in it. Still some like physical exercise movements, like more functional movements, like sled push, sled pulls, walking lunges, stuff like that. But so it's kind of like a big obstacle course. You have to run 1 kilometer in between every exercise you do. Is 8 exercises, so you're running a total of 8 kilometers. And then it's kind of like just a race, like a big CrossFit race or competition race. I did it with one of my buddies. That's in the Navy. So he motivated me to get on my task, get on my tail. And get out there and start running and training. So even myself, I mean, I have to motivate other people, but myself included needed a motivator. So he was that guy for me. He texted me, you slacking, you BS, and I'm like, damn, I am. I really am. Yeah. So, but yeah. So it was a big little event. It was fun. You two should plan to do that one day. That'd be a good goal.
Yeah,
Ning, come on, let's do it.
I'll start with 3 days.
There you go, 3 days.
For a week for my.
Yeah, maybe in 3 years. We'll plan out in 3 years.
Yeah.
I like it. Yep. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like the biggest, takeaways, I think it's know your why, right? Like why are you doing what you're doing? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And then kind of creating this plan on how to get there. And then, taking those small incremental steps every single week. Maybe you can't do it every day, but taking those steps every single day to sort of know, how do I move forward?
Right.
And then on the diet front, it's like they say, abs are made in the kitchen. And so it's focusing on sort of that protein intake and, making sure you're eating vegetables, making sure you're eating sort of more of that lean protein. So I think that this, massively will help, our viewers. And Ning, I'm curious, other questions you think they might have.
I guess just get started, right? And then I like the approach of setting achievable records, right? And then for me, one of my top strengths is achiever. I feel really happy when I can accomplish something, even the smallest thing. I just, put the flower in the ground.
Exactly,
right? So so to me, I think that would be my takeaway, to set daily or weekly, monthly achievable record, and then reach record by record. So kind of get better and better. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it. Like you said, just small wins every day leads up to big wins. Like you said, break a record every day. Could be, whatever category, mentally, physically, emotionally, you'll achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and I think it really does build confidence in people to not only achieve those small measurable goals, but it's really a trickle effect. When you're focused on growth, you're gonna grow in other areas. Not only is your physical body gonna be better, but you stop drinking alcohol, you start eating better, you're probably going to see some improvement to your mental health. You're going to, be more regimented with how you sort of plan your day and do your activities. So I think it's, very, very motivating and exciting for everyone out there. And, I gotta make sure I got my goal in front of me every Monday. Get going, right?
Exactly. And I do love how you mentioned that. That is true. It is a benefit more than just your physical. Definitely more clarity, and you just you'll feel. I could say more when at peace. Not really trying to get too hippie, but yeah. All overall.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and hope everybody has one of those awesome Lady Vibe Tuesdays.
Yes, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
Bye.
It's been a blessing, and just gotta keep PRing every day. Winners win.
Winners win. Let's go.
Winners win.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care. Have a fantastic day, everybody.
Thanks so much.